it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and today we've got two beers in front of us, but they're funny. It's the same beer, just slightly different. We are continuing our exploration into the lagers I've brewed earlier this year. This is the Vienna Lagers. This is something I brewed. This one in this one. This is the Vienna Lager I brewed in 2016. And this is the Vienna Lager I brewed in 2017. And I was going to have Mike, try to figure out which one was which, but I think we already discussed, what the difference was. So I think just by looking at them, you can see that there's a difference in appearance for these two beers.
We need to get a pour camera going is what we need.
We got to get a pour cam?
A pour cam.
A pour cam. So the big difference between these two beers is one has Munich malt in it and the other does not. Was that a subtle hint? So this was brewed in early February. This is actually the beer I brewed first, and then the black lager, if you watched the last week's video, you knew that I used the yeast cake that was left over after the fermentation of the Vienna Lager for the primary fermentation of the black lager. So last year, so this is got a lot more time and age on it, but has Vienna Lager, Munich malt in it, along with Vienna malt and Pilsner malt. This is just a combo of Vienna malt and Pilsner malt, and that's why it's a little lighter in color. Same kind of hops. I do Hallertau hops at both the 60-minute and 10-minute to go in the boil time frames, and they are. I think that the last year's. I could probably look back quickly, if you allow me to. Yes. So last year I brewed with a combination of a couple lager strains. We had Mexican lager and Wyeast 2308 Munich lager. And this is straight up German, southern German lager, White Labs WLP 838. So that's a big difference. Could you tell there was a big difference here in the?
To be honest with you, so the differences are the grain bill, the Munich dropout.
Yeah.
So obviously the one without Munich's got more Vienna in it than before. You color balance with some Carafa, right?
Yes.
For both of them.
For both of them, yeah.
The hops are roughly the same, but the yeasts are different.
Yes, the yeasts are different.
What I find tremendous, and this even has some Munich in it, last year's, for being a year older in age than this one. The aroma of the two is almost, man, it's so subtle. Subtly, the differences are small.
Okay.
And subtle. Right? There's a nice ester-like quality on both of them that is very lager-like. I don't get any sulfur from either of these sets of yeast. This guy, you could swear these were brewed almost at the same time. So somehow your bottling technique here is like top notch. You've got good oxygen scavenging from that, because this is bottle conditioned, right?
Yep. That one. They're both bottle conditioned.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. So that's tremendous.
But usually what I do is once it's carved up, I just throw it in my fridge, and it doesn't move. So, and that's the unfortunate thing. This is one of the last bottles. I had two bottles, 12 ounces from last year's, tucked away to maybe throw back into competition. Well, we're drinking it.
Yep.
Celebrate the now, man. Celebrate the now.
This year's is a little fuller, but we're talking minutely different. The mouthfeel of it is a little bit fuller. The flavors are pretty close too. The hop level, again, for a year-old beer, there isn't much hop presence in either one of them, which is probably why I feel this way, but they're very close in hop character. This one's slightly cleaner tasting. It's a little bit drier, but that's probably just because it's a year older. And again, that's why probably this one has a little more body. But You know, carbonation is pretty similar to both of them. Yeah, I don't know. They're so close. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that not just a year, but with the Munich in there and no Munich in there.
Oh,
Which one do you prefer? It's like picking one of your children.
it is. It is like picking one of my kids. Oh, there's one other thing that I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
This also had distilled water with
Let's
brewing salts
Let's change that
in
in.
it.
Hold on.
So I added calcium chloride to the water. 4 grams of calcium chloride in the mash, 5 grams in the sparge, and 3 grams in the boil.
Maybe that's why this one has a slightly fuller malt profile. Because you've got the chloride levels there. And this is just our city tap water?
I tend to brew my lagers with spring water. I think that's probably what it is.
Okay.
I wonder if I have that as a note too. But
Okay. Interesting.
yeah. No.
Well, I think they're pretty close. I don't know. I could pick one that I would prefer to drink over the other. If you were to just give me one of these and say, hey, Vienna Lager, I'm not 100% sure I would right away say, oh, this is 2016 and this is 2017. They're both pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I'm hoping that we'll see, because although this won a few medals, I've had Vienna Lagers who see, I'm still talking to them like they're my kids. I have had Vienna Lagers that got like higher ranks, more medals and such. So I was trying to learn from some of the greats and take Munich out of it and see where it took me.
I think it's a worthwhile experiment.
Yeah, I think so, and we'll see. I think I just need to get into competition. I missed the Boston homebrew competition. I totally flaked it. By the time I remembered and tried to enter, the entries were closed because too many people submitted entries. So it's all about New England homebrew competition in October, and I think
Well, if it holds up like this one, you'll be all set.
there's a couple of other ones that I'm looking at as well, regional ones.
You don't have enough of last year's to submit to?
No, because we drink
I
it all.
keep drinking this, and it keeps. I know it's so hard.
Now
it's so
we're
hard.
down to one bottle left, one
It's so
12
hard
ouncer
to
left.
be a home brewer and hold on to beers.
I try to hide it from myself, but
especially, yeah, but you can't.
I
You
can't.
know? Especially, maybe what we should do is set aside 12 bottles per batch each and give them to each other. Right, like I'll take your beers and stash them, right?
Yeah.
You take my beers, right? That
Yeah.
way, it's like, hey, I need 2 of those bottles.
Right, yeah, as long
know?
as I remember that you have them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I try to hide to forget, and then that's a problem too.
Yeah, but when we have events, you know, that's when like you have a couple beers, you bring out the fresh stuff, and people drink that, and then everybody's feeling good and whatever, and it's like, hey, what else do you have? You're like, I've got something for you. How would you like a 2016 Vienna Lager? I would love one. Thank you.
And that's what happens,
Yes.
and then they all go away.
Exactly. So, but that's what it's for drinking. Beer is a perishable product.
Yep, yep. You gotta get it.
You gotta
Gotta
get
drink
it.
while it's fresh, man.
Yep.
Okay, so Vienna Lager, big experiment. I think that Mike's comments are that if you really nail down your process and brew the same style over and over and over again,
Yeah.
even with slight changes,
Yeah.
you can still make a very similar brew. Just because I've got the whole lager thing down from doing it so many times. I mean, it's not like I nailed it the first time I ever brewed it. It was just like, we're probably going on year 5 of me putting this together. So, I mean, I've put like Roman numerals next to the recipe. We're on number 4 now.
That's a beautiful thing.
So, and that's before I think this is like 4 that I actually decided that I would number. So there's probably a couple before that didn't get anything. So. That's the big tip for this video, is just if you can dial into a style, you can futz with it, and your differences will be subtle, but you'll still make a very great beer. So that's what I got for you.
Brew, drink, repeat.
Hey man, did you read that somewhere?
I just made it up.
Wow, that is surprising.
I've probably seen it somewhere, but
You probably have. Probably someone suing
I'm
us for
claiming it.
copyright
I'm claiming it.
infringement. All right, for John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, brew on.
cheers.